When someone asks me what's my biggest fear, I feel like my automatic answer would be something so simple. Like, I'm afraid I won't be happy. Or if I don't want to get too deep, I'll just probably say, I'm afraid of the dark. But deep down, I think I've always known the real answer. I'm afraid of being alone. And not just being alone in the sense of sitting by myself at a cafe, or eating dinner by myself, or going somewhere alone. I mean, alone in the sense of feeling like I don't really have anyone to fully lean on. Alone in the sense of going through things quietly because you don't know who to tell, or because you don't want to burden anyone, or because you're so used to handling everything by yourself that asking for help feels so unnatural. I've been alone my whole entire life. And I don't want to sound like I don't have anyone because I do. I have friends who make me laugh until my stomach hurts. I have people who make time for me even when they're busy. I have people who care about me, spend time with me, remind me that I'm loved in their own ways. And I'm grateful for that. I'm really, really grateful for that. But I think loneliness is more complicated than just whether people are physically around you. Sometimes you can be surrounded by people and still feel like there are things inside you that no one really sees, not even yourself. Sometimes you can be laughing with your friends during the day and still go home at night feeling like this quiet part of you that no one really knows how to reach. And I think that's the kind of alone I'm talking about. Not the kind where nobody loves me, the kind where I've learned to carry so much myself that even when people are around, I still don't fully know how to let myself lean on them. Because when I'm sick, I take care of myself. When I'm sad, I put myself back up. When something hurts, I process it alone. When I'm overwhelmed, I try to calm myself down. And I know it sounds like independence. Maybe it is. Maybe on the outside, it looks like I'm strong, I'm capable, or like I have everything handled. I don't. I truly don't. But sometimes being independent feels like less of a choice and more like something I had to become. I just had to be strong so many times that I don't even know if I'm actually am strong or if I just never had the option to be anything else. And I think that's where these fears come from. Because when you spend so much of your life picking yourself up, you start to wonder, is this how it's always going to be? Am I always going to be the person who has to save myself? Am I always going to be the person who has to comfort myself? Am I always going to be the person who goes home alone, cries alone, heals alone, and then wakes up the next day like nothing ever happened? I hate being alone. And I think that's what I struggle the most. Because when I'm alone, my thoughts get louder and louder. It's like the world around me gets quieter, but inside of my head, everything starts screaming. I hate my thoughts sometimes. Most of the time, really. And I think we all do, right? There are thoughts that you don't want to hear, feelings that you don't want to feel, questions you don't want to ask yourself because you're scared of the answers. And for the longest time, I think I've been replacing silence with chaos, with people, with scrolling, with noise, with temporary happiness, with anything but could make me feel like I didn't have to sit with myself. Because sitting with myself means I have to hear everything. It means I have to admit that I'm scared. It means that I have to admit that I feel lonely. It means I have to admit that sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. And I think that's what scares me the most. Not being alone physically, but being alone with my own mind. Because my thoughts can push me so deep into myself, I started questioning everything. Why do I feel like people always leave? Why do I feel like I have to be okay so quickly? Why Do I feel like I can't fully rely on anyone? And I know not every thought is true, but when you're alone, they feel true. That's the scary part. And a thought can come into your head for 2 seconds and suddenly feels like a fact. Suddenly, I feel alone becomes I will always be alone. And I think that sentence has been sitting in my chest for the longest time. I will always be alone. I don't know if I fully believe it, but I know I'm scared of it. And I don't want to live my life being controlled by that fear. Because I've realized that I keep on waiting for someone to come with me, waiting for someone to choose me, waiting for someone to make me feel less alone, waiting for someone to make my life feels easier, softer, warmer. And I'm not saying it's wrong to want people. I think wanting connection is human nature. I think wanting to be loved, understood, and cared is normal. And I don't think we're meant to go through life completely alone. But I also don't want to keep postponing my life just because I'm scared to experience it all by myself. I don't want to wait until I have the perfect person beside me before I allow myself to enjoy things. I don't want to wait for someone else to make memories with me before I start making them for myself. And that's why I want to start learning how to be alone. And I don't want to do this because suddenly I love being alone. I'm doing this because I'm tired of being scared of it. I'm tired of treating my own company like it's something I have to survive. I want to learn how to be alone without feeling abandoned. I want to learn how to sit with myself without feeling like I'm being punished. I want to learn how to enjoy my own presence, not because I don't need anyone, but because I deserve to feel safe with myself too. And honestly, I'm nervous. It sounds so simple, but it feels uncomfortable. Because I know the moment I sit down, everything gets quiet. My first instinct is going to be reach my phone, to distract myself, to look busy, to pretend that I'm not alone. I want to actually be present with myself, even if it feels awkward, even if it feels sad, even if I don't have perfect healing moment of the end of it. I think the point is just to show up, to prove myself that I can do things alone and still be okay. Maybe being alone doesn't always have to mean being lonely. Maybe being alone can also mean I'm choosing myself. Maybe it can mean I'm giving myself time, attention, and softness that I keep wishing someone else would give me. And maybe that doesn't fix everything. Maybe I'll still go home and still feel lonely sometimes. I'll sit in my thoughts on my bed, wondering why things keep on happening with me, to me. Maybe I'll still have days where my thoughts gonna get louder and louder and louder. And maybe I still wish I had someone beside me. But I think healing starts with being honest. And honestly, I'm scared. I'm scared of being alone. I'm scared of ending up alone. I'm scared that one day I'll look around and realize everyone has someone and I'm trying so hard to hold myself together. I'm also starting to realize that being alone doesn't have to be the enemy. Maybe the real fear is not knowing how to be there for myself. So that's why I'm trying to learn how to be there for myself. I can be there for other people, but I don't think I was there for myself when I needed myself the most. How to take care of myself without feeling sad that I have to. How to enjoy my own company without seeing it as a second choice. How to stop waiting for someone else before I start living. Not because it's easy, not because I'm magically healed, but because I don't want to keep running away from myself. Maybe I will suddenly become someone who loves being alone all the time. But I hope I become someone who is less afraid. Someone who can sit in silence and not feel like the silence is swallowing her. Someone who can take herself out without feeling embarrassed. Someone who can be alone and still feel chosen, even if that person choosing me is me.